What's going on, guys? I'm here with the Marvel's Avengers video, and today I'm going to be going through a quick breakdown of the new Jane Foster War Table Deep Dive. Looks pretty interesting. Of course, there's some things to talk about, what's new and what kind of gameplay she was showing off with. So let's go ahead and get right into this. Getting things started, it pretty much just goes over everything about her through her comic book origins, her gameplay, and how she fits into the story. So what we're going to start off with is the comic book origins. So it says, who is Jane Foster? Jane is a doctor of many gifts driven by compassion for others. The story of Jane's transformation into the Goddess of Thunder originates from the iconic comics written by Jason Aaron. She first appeared as the Goddess of Thunder in issue number 1 of 2014's Mighty Thor. After Thor Odinson becomes unworthy to wield Mjolnir, it sits dormant on the moon. Many try to pick up the legendary hammer, but none are deemed worthy. That is, until Jane, who is battling cancer, hears Mjolnir calling out to her. Upon wielding the awesome weapon, she transforms into the mighty Thor, and her illness is held at bay. Jane's adventures continued in 2015's Mighty Thor series and 2019's War of the Realms, culminating in the epic conclusion of her arc when she transcends mortality and is reborn as Valkyrie. Moving on to the Avengers lore in Marvel's Avengers, so Jane the Mighty Thor is torn from an alternate timeline through a rift in space-time caused by Titan anomalies. In the original timeline, Jane becomes a Goddess of Thunder when she took up the mantle from Thor, who was in grief, gave up Mjolnir after the 8-Day tragedy and Jane's cancer diagnosis. Jane Foster is voiced by the talented Zara Fuzzle, known for her voice work across video games Apex Legends, Borderlands 3, Destiny 2, and television, She-Ra in The Princess of Power, Big Hero 6 the series, and Lost in Space. Essentially, her story is going to be told through the form of intel documents, just like Spider-Man was over on PlayStation. There might be little cutscenes here and there, like in-game cutscenes instead of like the comic book looking ones. So who knows, maybe that could be in there as well. We're just going to have to wait and see. Onto gameplay and unique skills. Jane Foster's Mighty Thor possesses all the strength and power of a god of thunder. Long years after watching Thor Odinson have allowed the Good Doctor to use Mjolnir with ease. However, Jane doesn't wield Mjolnir like a son of Asgard, but with human touches all her own, deploying the mighty hammer in ways that Odinson's never did. Jane's unique talents with Mjolnir begins with All-Mother's Blessings, her new intrinsic ability, and God Tempest, her new overcharge inspired by the Elder God sealed with Mjolnir. All-Mother's Blessing builds its overcharge meter with melee attacks. Once full, she unleashes her God Tempest, which increases range hammer damage and creates shockwaves with each hit. All-Mother's Blessing and God Tempest can be modified with mastery skills to boost damage, increase the strength of shockwaves, and improve intrinsic generation and duration. In her comic runs, Jane frequently shows more finesse with Mjolnir than the Odinson, and that she shines through several new features in her combat kit. This includes Quickfire, a new range attack combo that allows the Mighty Thor to make a second more powerful range attack by timing her next throw as she catches Mjolnir on its return. Jane's abilities, such as her ranged power attack, also draw their inspiration from the epic combat in the comics. A notable example of this is the Seek and Pin upgrade to her range attack, which empowers Mjolnir to seek out and pin enemies without needing to aim. Her expert control even extends to melee strikes with Earth's Finest, which adds a hammer toss to her light attacks combo for extra reach. Jane also puts her own spin on classic Odinson moves like Headstrong. She relies on her Thunder Kick, a brutal front kick to send enemies flying. The Mighty Thor's kit culminates in the All-Weapon, her brand new ultimate heroic. Drawn from the pages of her Thor and Valkyrie runs, Jane sends Mjolnir to seek and destroy nearby enemy targets, while she calls forth the All-Weapon Undjarn to protect her, reducing all damage taken while smiting her foes. The All-Weapon has a full set of specializations and allow you to customize Mjolnir strikes, making them faster and channeling a powerful shock status against nearby enemies. Jane can even use Mjolnir as a personal orbiting defense shield. The arrival of the Mighty Thor adds a third flying warrior to the Marvel's Avengers roster for new team compositions and fresh co-op play. This allows for original approaches to community events, endgame, Omega level threats, and raid challenges. One thing shown in the little blog post talking about the war table is a bit of a breakdown of the gear she's supposed to have. So it says, due to their similar origins, Jane will share many gear perks with Thor. When looking at gear stats, these perks will feature Thor's icon, which is Mjolnir. Gear perks that are unique to Jane will have her icon and feature hero-specific specialization. So for example, we have the classic set gear perks will focus on perk synergy and highlight range focus abilities while improving the capability of each heroic attack. Critical recall, when returning to your hand, any target hit with your hammer will be a critical hit. Lethal ranged hammer restoration, defeating an enemy with a ranged hammer attack drops a regen pack. Technical set gear perks will focus more on her overcharge mechanic and how it differs from Thor. Unarmed overdrive, unarmed attacks generate 50% more overcharge energy per attack. Lethal rampant extension, defeating enemies while God Tempest is active will extend the duration of the ability by 2.5 seconds. Apex set gear perks will tie into Jane's heroic ultimate ability, and ultimate cryo hazard activating in ultimate heroic on the ground creates a cryo hazard. And of course, we added a couple of hero specific perks to the discordant set gear. We also took this opportunity to make a few perks that debut with Jane but will be attainable for Thor in the future. So that's very interesting to hear. On to her cosmetics. So in addition to her awesome godlike combat abilities, Jane has a variety of outfits drawing inspiration from the comics. She also boasts unique takedowns, emotes, nameplates, and has her own hero challenge card and mission chain. These allow you to earn special rewards, including exclusive cosmetics and intel documents that delve deeper into Jane's story. So as you see on screen, we get a look at her challenge card, the first 8 levels. Of course, it is going to cost 1,000 credits. So the level 1 appears to be a variant of the Valkyrie outfit since she is wielding Unyarn. Get some fragments, there's an emote, a takedown over there, some credits, just your basic usual things for her challenge card. And that's pretty much it regarding the video for the war table. But another thing that was not mentioned in the video was the future, and that was posted in the little blog. So it says, following the addition of the Mighty Thor in patch 2.5, we'll be adding to the game's story with 2 new challenges as part of an ambition to advance our narrative through hero and villain-centric content. The first is a villain-focused warzone that will reveal MODOK's fate after the defeat of his Kree Sentinel. The warzone will lead our heroes into AIM's cloning lab, a new OLT where your high-level strike team will challenge and defeat a revitalized MODOK in a new multiplayer villain fight. Cloning labs will be new in-game content that rewards conquering heroes with high power level gear from brand new exotic gear sets. And yeah, that pretty much covers it for the breakdown. My overall thoughts about Jane Foster would be that I guess she's cool, she's alright, but she's basically in like heavily reused assets of Thor, from her combat wise to her abilities, especially her assault and support heroic abilities. They're basically the same thing. The combat is basically the same thing, just minimal differences. Her ultimate's cool, but it's, if you played as Captain America, it's basically the same as Brooklyn Brawler, if you know what I mean. So I guess there's that. There's not a whole lot of differences. There's not a whole lot of distinction, but yeah, I guess it is what it is. Another character's coming in, a flying character, so that's cool. Just kind of wish she actually did have brand new assault and support heroics and a little bit cool combos and stuff like that, you know, whereas Kate Bishop and Hawkeye, they were actually different in terms of combat and their movesets. So obviously they did a much better job in terms of distinction between 2 bow characters and 2 Thor type characters. So yeah, you know, like I said, not really surprised with how she is, but it is what it is. And yeah, I'm sure she's still going to be a fun character to play as. There's no doubt about that. They've always done great with the combat of the heroes, so there's that to look forward to. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, as always, be sure to leave it a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.